Tell about your meeting with then White House Deputy Chief of Staff Karl Rove, where you were innocently asking about the governorship, and then the later time you ran into him after you were elected.
Well, I started thinking more and more in the late 90s, early 2000s about the idea of running. Gray Davis was just elected to be our governor and all that stuff. So it was kind of brewing in my head. And so all of a sudden was the talk about a recall in California to recall Gray Davis. He was now elected the second time. And as soon as he was elected, there were, of course, economic downturns, which, is no one's fault, really, not one person's fault. But then the lights went out in California, and, so people felt like, oh, what kind of a governor do we have? The economy is going down, we cannot even keep our lights on. It was all kinds of things that started mounting to anger in California. And all of a sudden, there was a recall. Now, I was just finished off Terminator 3, and I was now about to go on a promotion tour worldwide to promote the movie Terminator 3. And as I was traveling around, I read the news, it's just that they're gathering signatures, and they're now having enough signatures, and they're now sending it to the Secretary of State, and the Secretary of State is calling now for an election, for a recall election. So that was basically, I said to myself, that is a clear signal from somewhere above that if I want to run, this is the time to run, because you have Democrats and Republicans voting together. And I don't have to go through a Republican primary. And so I jumped into the race.
And you go to see Karl Rove?
Well, what happened is that before all this, since I was very heavily involved in after-school programs, so we had a big after-school program summit in Washington, so which was, kind of worked together. We worked together, me and the Bush administration worked on this after-school program summit. And so it was natural that afterwards I went over there with the Secretary of Education, appointed by Bush, to go to the White House with her and to just drop by and say hi to the president, and also then to go upstairs and say hi to Karl Rove. And so I said to Karl Rove, so tell me, this whole thing now, they're gathering signatures. Do you think they're talking about the recall? Do you think this is going to happen? And he says to me, Arnold, they're crazy in California. California does crazy things. I wouldn't count on that at all. They talk about it and this and that. It's a wacky state. No one is going to recall Gray Davis. It's the craziest thing. I said, so I wouldn't even pay much attention to that. Now, this is the number one expert in politics talking. And I said to myself, I don't know why he's saying that, because it seems to me that the feeling I get in California that people really want to have the recall. Why is he so off on that one? So it didn't take long. We're schmoozing upstairs in his office, and he says, oh, let's go downstairs. I just got a message. Let's go downstairs. You will meet someone that will be really an interesting candidate for 2006. That if you, by the way, if you ever want to run, that will be the candidate that you have to beat. So we go downstairs, and then all of a sudden there's Condoleezza Rice, Secretary of State, coming our way, and she's all smiley and very friendly. And I say, hey, Arnold, how are you? It's good to see you. And I said, thank you, it's nice to see you also. I said, congratulations on a great job that you're doing and all this. And Karl Rove says, that is the candidate for 2006. That is the person that you will have to beat if you happen to want to run. She was totally uncomfortable. So she did not know that he's going to say that. She's a wonderful, sweet woman and very smart and everything. And she would make a great governor. There's no two ways about that. And would have been a tough contender, obviously. But he had no idea that my thinking was, I'm going to run Karl. I'm going to run way before 2006. and I will prove to you how off you are. And sure enough, a few months later, I was governor of the state of California. They called the election in August, beginning of August. On August 6th, I announced on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno my candidacy. And then exactly 2 months later, on October 7th, I was governor of the state of California and then sworn in on November 17th of 2003.
And fast forward to the next time you see him.
President Bush came out to California to visit and maybe to do some fundraising, whatever. But I remember they asked me to meet up with President Bush in the Inland Empire. And he was staying there at a hotel, and they asked me to go up there to this hotel. And so I then met Bush, who I knew very well, because, like I said, from Camp David, and we hung out together a lot of times. But he then said to Karl Rove, he says, Karl, why don't you leave us alone? And so Karl Rove walked out, okay, bye, kind of sheepishly. And he left. And then I talked to Bush for a while, and then Bush said to me, basically, hey, don't hold any grudges against Karl Rove because he didn't, believe that this would happen. I say, are you kidding me? I say, I love the guy. I think he has done the most unbelievable job for you. I said, and that he didn't believe in it. I said, a lot of other people didn't believe that there would be a recall. And a lot of other people didn't believe that I would be running for governor or that I would be governor eventually and all that stuff. I said, I have nothing against Karl. You can bring him back. So anyway, he came back, and then we all were laughing and having a good time. And like I said, we had a wonderful working relationship after that when I was governor, and Karl was very supportive, and the president was very supportive and all that.